welcome to the Fabulous Picture Show and this special screening. Round of applause for the cast of Hunger.
My name's Liam McMahon and I played Jerry Campbell in the film.
I'm Liam Cunningham. I play Father Dominic Moran.
I'm Stuart Graham. I play Raymond Lowen.
And I'm Brian Milligan and I play Davy Gillen, one of the prisoners.
Now, the director is Steve McQueen. He couldn't be with us today. How did he talk you into the film, Liam?
It was very difficult when you hear the words Bobby Sands and to make a movie about this man without being political. But the humanity of the piece, which you're about to see, I think will justify anybody's involvement in this movie.
How long did you get?
12 years. You?
6 years. 6.
You lucky bastard.
Hunger takes us back to 1981 and inside Northern Ireland's infamous Maze Prison.
Get ready.
The prisoners, mainly members of the outlawed IRA, the Irish Republican Army, are fighting against British rule in a war known as the Troubles that will last 30 years. In Hunger, director Steve McQueen, an acclaimed artist turned feature filmmaker, confronts the brutality within H-Block. In the so-called blanket protests, hundreds of inmates refused to wear prison uniforms, demanding to be treated as political prisoners rather than common criminals.
There can be no question of political status for someone who is serving a sentence for crime.
From there, it escalates. The inmates claiming they're beaten refuse to leave their cells, thus beginning the notorious dirty protests. But all protests fail until one prisoner, Bobby Sands, vows to die for the cause.
I'm starting a hunger strike on the 1st of March. That's why you're here. That's what I'm telling you.
Aye, I heard that.
Sands is played by Michael Fassbender, whose transition from the rugged Spartan of 300 to a famished 59-kilo freedom fighter is the most shocking screen emaciation since Christian Bale.
I saw The Machinist again recently.
Yeah, he kind of set the bar really high.
No, actually,
thanks, Christian.
your film makes The Machinist look like Mary Poppins to me.
Okay, yeah, it did look pretty thin. But I was worried. I was so worried about slipping up because it does drive you crazy. When you strip everything away, you start to appreciate what you have. And it gave me a huge amount of focus as well, going in for that last section of the film.
You were incredibly brave with the brutality of this film. I mean, it was tough to watch. I assumed that you expected it and you wanted it to be that tough to watch. Do you think you got perhaps immune to it a little bit? Because I was really shocked.
I don't think you get immune to it, but I think it just... what's interesting about those scenes is the sort of the ritual of violence and how violence is constructed. Everything is a ritual, and that's when the film is all about ritual. Ritual in how they eat, ritual in how what they do with the communications, ritual about violence.
McQueen recreated images from the limited news footage that exists from within H-Block. And he and his co-writer, Irish playwright Enda Walsh, contend they're not trying to depict Sands as a hero.
You know, we didn't set out to make a political film. We wanted to explore this idea of using your own body as a weapon and how that's very much relevant to today with Guantanamo Bay, suicide bombers, what sort of mind frame they're at to go into that journey and see it through till the death.
It's very quiet in here, isn't it? You guys are getting used to that, aren't you?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same reaction that we've got now in most of the screenings that we've been to. It's a film that you don't forget when you leave the cinema. You take with you. You take it out into the night and you process it, and you probably discover new things about it, and you make up your own minds about it. And that's why you all look the way you do.
Steve McQueen said that he wanted people to hear, smell and feel this terrible, notorious block, didn't he?
I think it's very true that you use those words, hear, smell and feel, because they are the human senses. That's what he wanted an audience to be put in touch with. A desperate, horrific situation that hopefully nobody will ever find themselves in again. As far as I'm concerned, to allow people to become beasts is your first job, not to allow that to happen, and they failed miserably. And I think to show that we were dealing with human beings, you know, was our primary job, as the artist's job is holding the mirror up to society.
Are they giving you treatment for that? It's being looked after.
There is a particular scene where you two are awaiting what we imagine is going to be something very brutal. How did he prepare you for that scene?
Basically what Steve got us to do was to go absolutely crazy. I was crying in the corner and Liam was trying to build me up. And after that take, well, we thought it was a take.
We thought that was gold.
Yeah, I thought I had made it. And he came in, he says, okay, what I want you to do is take that and put it into a ball and put it in here. On the fourth take, I remember Steve walked outside to take a break for 5 minutes because he, you know, became involved in it all and said that he felt partly to blame that he was putting us through this. We both knew he didn't have the shot, so I had to do it again. So we were 100% committed, and yes, we suffered a bit for our art, but you know, hopefully that comes across.
When we did the research we met some boys that were on the blanket protest. Two early 50-year-old men burst into tears, and with the emotion of it and still the pain of it. And so we realised from an art brand now, like, we had a great responsibility to try and achieve a level of realism.
It would have been very easy for Steve to create this sort of dichotomy of good versus evil. You certainly didn't want to be in that type of film, did you?
Sometimes I think what some people tend to neglect is it wasn't just the prisoners who were living in that world, it was the prison officers as well. The many officers that I spoke to, they say even though they got to walk out of there every night, it was in their clothes, it was in their hair, they couldn't get away from it. They took it home to their families and they brought it back the next morning.
Temperature-wise, pretty cold, 6-7 degrees, which is
Do you remember when he was folding the foil after his sandwich? I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful little gesture. Was that your idea?
Idea? Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, that was mine. Joke was mine.
You know, that foil actor. You know that? So what makes this protest different is that you're set to die, Bobby.
May well come to that.
It became known in Cannes as the scene. It's a 23-minute scene, but it's a 17.5-minute one-shot.
Putting my life on the line is not just the only thing I can do, Dawn. It's the right thing.
Now, Steve McQueen, he said this will be the scene of your career.
Oh, that's great. I might as well stop now. Get out while I'm ahead. So it'll take a couple of deaths, do you think? Maybe 5 or 6? But you're there's 75 of you.
Aye, well, it won't come to that.
All right, maybe the Brits will buckle after 20 or so. But why should you care? Because you're already dead, right? Obviously, the thing that attracted me to it was this magnificent 28-page dialogue. But it wasn't until I got up to Belfast that Steve decided to inform me he was thinking of shooting it in one shot. And then when we came to shoot it, the first assistant director had a piece of paper in his hand. He said, we're going to have to go along with this. And I said, what's that? And he said, it's the train timetables. We were shooting quite close to the train station. So we actually had to work between the arrivals and the departures of the trains. He would get off the phone from the station master and said, we've got 35 minutes, we need to go now, now, now. And we would sit down and do this. So no pressure or anything there. It's all about the freedom. But you got no appreciation of a life, Bobby. You no longer know what a life is, you man. What I particularly liked about the scene is the fact that this is a conversation with God. I mean, this man is announcing his death to a priest who is announcing suicide, you know, one of the ultimate sins in Catholicism.
God's going to punish me.
Well, if not just for the suicide, then he'd have to punish you for stupidity.
I actually knew Bobby Sands and Joe McDonnell as a child.
His funeral, 100,000 people showed up. Did you see that?
I was at it.
You were there?
I was actually doing my O-level maths in class, and everybody just run in. Everybody run out on the streets.
It was incredible, and there was people there from all walks of life. I think it was getting back to the point that this guy had done something that he believed in, that people had this respect for.
There's very little footage of Bobby Sands. I think there's 90 seconds that anybody has seen in Northern Ireland. So for a lot of people in Northern Ireland, this will be the first time that Bobby Sands will be presented as a human being, and a lot of people will take that away from the film.
Like so many Irish Republicans before him, Bobby Sands has ensured that his name will be remembered by dying for the cause he believed in.
I just wondered if it was different working with the director who's a visual artist rather than a regular director.
Yeah, it was. But to his eternal credit, he learned really quickly. He says this himself, by the way, I'm almost quoting. I discovered that if I was honest with them, they'd be honest with me. And as actors, I think we reacted to that in a positive way, obviously. What
did you learn from Steve McQueen?
I learned to get down on my knees and pray for Steve McQueen every time I do a job. He gets it.
For me personally, it was the first time that I've been given an enormous freedom by a director. In terms of when we walked in and first met Steve, the first thing he said to us was, "I have no idea how you do what you do, but I hold it with the greatest respect." And immediately, Brian and I were like, "We'll do anything you want us to do, Steve."
Yeah, which is why I got naked. That wasn't in the script, no.
A big round of applause here. The actors, the cast of Hunger. Well, that's it for this Fabulous Picture Show. It was an utter pleasure to have 4 Irish actors.
It was an utter pleasure having those questions asked. They were intelligent, bright. Thank God they got the movie.
Yeah, they absolutely did. How'd you do, Stuart?
I did good. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure for us. I thought I was fantastic. The other 3 I thought were rubbish, but
thank you so much. Okay, hope to see you on the next Fabulous Picture Show.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the film and why?
I would give the film 9 out of 10.
I would rate it about a 10 out of 10, purely, I think, because of the way it's affected me.
I don't see it as miraculous shooting. I rather see it as a good piece of writing.
It's a very, very powerful reminder of very real history.
It was dark, dank, dangerous, and was somewhere where I would never want to be.